All right, now we're live on the interweb from Galway. So I got my NASA set up again with two laptops and a phone and coffee and banjos. So I just need to go and follow myself on my own Facebook page so that I can keep track of comments, if that makes any sense. There we are. All right, so, okay, we've got Laurie McKiernan, how you doing? And Cynthia Fry from Kansas City. I got a card in the post from Cynthia Fry today that was about sushi. So that was, thank you very much, quite welcome. Dan Markerley, how you doing? Amy Strong, Jessa Lee. Matthew, do you want to say hello before you go for a walk?
Hello.
This is Matthew. Cue the, oh my God, he's so cute. Jeanne Hines, hi from Madison and Dublin, Ohio. Hello from Green Bay. Loads of Wisconsin folks are online. Where are you going?
On a walk.
He's going to walk the dog. What's your dog's name?
Stampy.
Why is he called Stampy?
After my favourite YouTuber.
There you are, Stampy Longnose. Laurie says hi, Matthew. So Matthew, you might come back and have a chat later on, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy your walk.
Yeah.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, it's good to be here again. Do I play tenor guitar? Says Dylan Kit on YouTube. I do play tenor guitar. I had a Martin tenor guitar, which is a small wooden body. It basically looks like a guitar, but it has 4 strings and it's tuned like a banjo. So therefore it is essentially you play it the same as you would play a banjo or a mandolin. And I bought one many, many years ago when my grandmother, my mother's mother, she had invested money into these things called prize bonds, which the post office in Ireland did way back in the 70s or 80s. And for whatever reason, we never won anything on it, prize-wise, but it matured after many years and there was £1,000 in Irish money. And I got it just at the same time as I had an interest in playing tenor guitar. And I went out to Tom Cusson from Clarion Banjos, and Tom had a Martin tenor guitar and he wanted £1,000 for it, so I bought it with my grandmother's prize bond money, which is kind of a nice story. And then I played it for my wife as she walked up the aisle a few years later when we got married. And eventually I went and I sold it actually to fund the purchase of my neckfull banjo. And in the meantime then I bought a resonator tenor guitar, which is like a steel-bodied guitar. So it's 4-string, which is the reason that it's a tenor. But it's got a kind of like a metal, a steel body, has a beautiful tone. I was on the phone to my wife, and I was in Carter's Vintage Guitars in Nashville, and we were chatting on the phone, and I was going around kind of plucking instruments that were hanging on the wall and stuff like that, and I picked this thing up because they're pretty. And I started playing it. I was like, babe, I'm going to have to call you back. And then I bought it. And then I had to figure out how to get it home through customs and all the rest of it. So if you want any tips on that, you buy something and then you cover it in stickers and then they don't ask. So that was basically it. So I hope everyone can hear me okay today. I'm using this software called OBS, which lets me do split screen stuff. So I'm going to have a couple of guests on later on for a chat. So I'm still getting used to it. Last week was interesting. We got the volume sorted out eventually. So bear with me on it today as we go through the hour. So hope everyone is doing well. Sound is perfect, says Pamela. Thank you. That is good to hear. Had a couple of questions earlier that I'll attend to straight away. So Charlie Brown was wondering, how much do I still need to practice? So a lot, and I don't do enough. Usually when we're on the road and we're playing so much that I can get back up to kind of match fitness in sporting parlance very, very quickly. For many years when I started playing banjo when I was 8 years old, and I would play all of the time. I would play in the morning before school, I would play at school, I would play as soon as I came home in the evening. I was just playing. And as I got older and going to sessions and all of that kind of stuff, I was just playing just as much as I possibly could. It was never out of my hand as a teenager and even into my 20s. And then I started to gig professionally, and at one stage I was doing probably 15 gigs a week. Used to do 3 on a Sunday, and they were all 2-hour gigs. So there was just so much music that there wasn't a need to actually physically practice. Now I will practice if I basically if I want to learn something new or a new technique, or if I want to kind of sharpen up on a new tune or some part of a song that has got weird chords that I don't understand or something like that. But thankfully, now that Matthew, who you may have met and hopefully he'll come back for a chat later on, he's 10, so I can finally almost leave instruments around the house and they don't get sat on and stuff. Terry Fetzner, does Matthew play the banjo? He does not. Matthew plays the drums and he plays piano and he's learning tin whistle. Matthew is very, very competitive, particularly when it comes to me. So myself and my wife made a decision that it would be a bad idea to have him play the banjo because he's way too competitive. He's too much like me. That's the problem. So, but he's a fantastic ear. He has huge musicality, as all children do. He loves it. He doesn't have any one genre of anything that he enjoys. He likes everything from Adele to the Bee Gees to you name it, Beatles. He listens to everything. He sings along with everything. Very, very musical. Keeps us on our toes, that is for sure. And I saw a lot of funny memes online today about lockdowns and parenting and children, and they're all true. They're all true. There was a question back there. Yes, I'm going to play a tune actually. And Martin Howley sent this to me earlier, and I see it from Stefan Murhertig as well. A banjo maker called Dave Boyle Banjos. Very, very well known in Ireland. Essentially, there's 2 main banjo makers for years and years and years in Ireland. One is Tom Cusson, who makes clarine banjos. And I've played clarine banjos all my life. And this is a clarine that Tom made for me many years ago, which is stunning. And Tom has worked hand in glove with Dave Boyle for his whole career, and they have made parts for each other's banjos. And Dave Boyle passed away today. He very, very well known in banjo circles, very, very well loved. His banjos are adored by anyone that has ever owned one. I'd never owned one myself, but I know many people who do, and many people who love their banjos. And so a sad day for banjo, an Irish banjo for sure. And another man that passed away today is a man called Pat Costello. And Pat was from Limerick, I believe, or Clare. I always associate with Pat with County Clare and with the band Shaskeen. And Shaskeen were a band that Tom Cusson formed a long time ago, and Tom wouldn't like me to say that it possibly is before I was born, but it's a long time ago. And 2 of the band members died this week. Pat Broderick, who was the piper, and Pat Costello, who played guitar and played banjo. But I most fondly remember Pat as a banjo player. An absolute sweetheart of a man, very, very encouraging to me when I was growing up as a kid and playing, and anytime I met him, just a lovely, lovely man. Great stories. He played banjo when banjo was extremely unpopular in Ireland, and he had stories about that. And so he passed away today, and yeah, say hello Chris Keenan. Yeah, Dave, I just heard it on Facebook today that he had passed away. So, I seen that Matthew was here earlier. This is a tune I wrote 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I wrote it for my son Matthew. He was 3 and he was constantly in trouble, and I really wish that I could report that that has changed. But he's 10. He could write the same tune today. He's great, but he's mad in the head. And so when he was 3 and he'd get into trouble, I mean, 3-year-olds don't get into trouble, but they get into bother. And he would say, "Daddy, it's hard to be 3." And he was right. Very wise, very hard to be 3. Currently, it's hard to be 10. And from where I'm sitting, it's hard to be 43. These days, it's hard to be Anthem. But this is the tune that I wrote for Matthew. It's called It's Hard to Be 3. So we'll play this for Pat Costello and for Dave Boyle. Now, for Pat Broderick, Pat Costello, and Dave Boyle. So now, I see my mum has joined. Hello, Mum. Hope you're keeping well in Corofin and well cocooned. Hello to Eric Palmer in Ohio. Carrie Surveys, loads of lovely people on. Penny Burnage says, "It's hard to be 58, I have no doubt. But age is just a number, isn't that what they say?" Hannah Beaton. Hello, Hannah. One of my absolute favourites. I think that's Hannah from Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. I miss the banjo. Bam. Lovely. Yeah, I hope everybody is well and happy. And we're basically in lockdown here in Ireland, as the whole world is. And I guess we're making the best of it, you know. I have loads of time, which I've never had, because I've always been far too busy for my own good. And happy birthday to Marnie Reid, to turn 54 today. I hear 54 is a wonderful age. So, yeah, yesterday I made a birdhouse out of a pallet. Anybody who knows me knows that I am seriously challenged when it comes to DIY. I do my best, but I took my time yesterday and I made a birdhouse, and you never know, a bird might nest in it, but I was very proud of it. And today I made a raised garden bed from decking that's been in the shed for 6 years. and it's all straight and looks amazing. So I'm very proud of myself. I said making the best of lockdown life. We have a big garden. We're very, very privileged. We're very aware of that, and a really nice garden. And we've spent loads of time out there, myself, my wife, and my son, and it's been very good for the head and very good for us. And we're very, very glad that we have it. So, right, I'm going to attempt. Let's see. I have a great friend in Nashville called Jake Workman, who's a phenomenal guitar player. He's from Utah. So I'm going to try and get him on FaceTime video. So if you can all bear with me, hopefully this works. Hey Jake.
Hey Enda, how's it going?
All right, man. You just hang on there for 1 second. I'm going to try and get you on the split screen. Don't look funny for a second, and there you are, looking great. How you doing?
Doing all right. How's it going?
Good, good, man. You're in Nashville.
I'm actually in Utah right now.
You're in Utah, okay. So for We Banjo 3 fans that are listening right now, this is Jake Workman, also known as J Work, from Utah.
That's right.
And Jake plays with the Ricky Skaggs band, I guess currently, and perhaps most famously right now. And
yeah.
So the first time we met was through a mutual friend called Jeff Taylor from Nashville. And Jeff sent me an email and he said, my friend Jake is coming to Ireland. He's a great musician and would love to meet up with some Irish musicians. So I replied, and we ended up going to a couple of sessions, like an Americana session in Campbell's in Headford, and then another one in, I got a text there now telling me to do something. Another one in Can't Hear Me. Okay, whoa, okay. Jake, just hold on there 1 second. I got to do some fancy work here.
You're good, you're good.
All right. I'm just going to turn everything up. Right. Can you hear me now? This is Fergal is texting me at the same time, my brother, saying, can't hear you.
Oh, I
So I'm using this software called OBS, and it's fiddly. It's good, but there's a little bit of work involved. So I'm just going to do just change the gain filters here. So bear with me, Jake. Sorry, man.
No problem.
Yes, and then let's get a bit better, says Fergie. That's good. Hissy. I can't do anything about the hissing, unfortunately. So this is live Facebook streaming at its finest. So anyway, yeah, we had a couple of great nights in Galway. We played some amazing music, and so just tell us a little bit about yourself for the folks that might not know you, which would be probably the Irish scene, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Well, shoot. First of all, Enda, you're the man when it comes to Irish banjo and your band. You guys are so awesome. Thanks for having me play with you back in October in Nashville. That was a blast. We had a great time. That was fun. But I've always loved Irish music, and I've never just learned it right, learned it well. But I'm still planning to take some lessons from you one of these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm from Utah, and actually we're in Utah right now. During the lockdown, I finished up a tour with Ricky in California. 4 of the 5 shows happened. The 5th one got canceled. That was about 3 weeks ago, and when everything started shutting down and the tours started getting canceled, my wife and I said, let's just hibernate in Utah with family. And we're kind of in this small town called Oak City. It's in the middle of nowhere, so we're just hanging out. We're very safe where we're at, and I've just been doing a lot of lessons on Skype and FaceTime and all that, and that's been my main gig since as long as I can remember anyway. So that's nothing new to me. I've done lessons for a long time online, and I'm grateful to have the work, because I'm not working anywhere else. And Ricky's off until at least the end of May, probably into June. We don't know yet exactly.
Yeah.
So just getting some time in and hanging out, playing guitar and teaching. Life is good.
Do you enjoy teaching?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I don't plan to. I mean, I don't know. If I had to pick between performing and teaching, that would be a real tough call. I do enjoy it. I think it's exciting to see somebody young and, when they're excited to learn something new, it's fun to give them something new and get them, see their eyes light up, or old people too, anybody that's getting excited about music. I mean, that brings me a lot of joy to teach it, and I feel like over the years, I've taught for so many years now, I feel like I for the most part understand what people are looking for when they ask about certain concepts and whatnot. I know how to kind of get inside their head and help them. I think that's kind of an art of its own, But at the same time, too, I love performing. I love getting on stage and playing for me, and that's fun and different. You kind of gotta calibrate yourself in different ways. And I sit here and I'm in teaching mode, but if I get practicing or get out on the road, then I'm in show mode. And they're a little different, but both are great.
Yeah. And so is there a specific style that you teach within? So you played bluegrass guitar. So is there a specific style within that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it can encompass all. Bluegrass to me is a pretty wide genre. There's real old time traditional bluegrass, and it's old time music, which is a close cousin to Irish music. And then so there's that side, and then there's to the complete other opposite. Kind of the progressive bluegrass and the jam bands and things like that. And I've played it all. I tend to lean for traditional bluegrass, like Bill Monroe, Flat Scruggs, Stanley Brothers. I tend to love that maybe most. But at the same time, I love picking fiddle tunes. I love it all. And bluegrass guitar is just it's an exciting thing. It's hard. It's hard for me every day. And I feel that I'm a good player, but man, there's always more to learn. So
yeah, I feel the same way. But that sounds like a perfect segue to give us an example of what you mean.
Sure. I don't know. What do you want me to play here?
I don't know the names of any bluegrass tunes.
Well, I guess let's see. I guess if I was to give you something that's pretty standard, let's give you a good Bill Monroe tune, and I'll play a little Big Mon. This one comes up a lot. You may have even seen me play it on somewhere, YouTube or something. But this would be a good one. So this is completely Wong here. This is going to be cold, but 1, 2, 3.
yeah. That's
Something
awesome.
like that.
That's awesome. It's so interesting because the melodic forms are so different between bluegrass and Irish. I mean, it's just all the same notes, but
Right.
the curves and the twists and the corners are different. And I mean, I'm many years listening to bluegrass and still get so excited by what you're playing. Just the way that it moves is very different to Irish music.
Yeah. I think Irish music. It's kind of like. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but I think Irish music tends to improvise on the rhythm side of things and play melodies. They'll change the ornaments and stuff, and man, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the melodies stay more melody, and then the rhythm and the background and the accenting of that changes. Whereas bluegrass, you have a pretty stagnant groove sometimes, but then the solos can go all over the place and lose the melody quite a bit, But a lot of the note choices are the same, We both love like the flatted 7, we love that. The flatted 3s,
That's the safety note for Irish musicians trying to play bluegrass.
Yeah, that's right. It's good. It's a slightly different language, and it's just different enough that it's hard. It's hard to go back and forth, And I wish I could do more of, like the Irish, the triplet ornaments and stuff that you do. I need to pick your brain at another time. But you
We're-
know, that's
We're legally, we're not allowed to tell you. It's a kind of an Irish contract kind of thing.
yeah. Well, it's. I swear, you gotta be born there to get it, man. I'm
It's
still
the-
struggling.
It's the only reason we can get a work visa for the United States is because we won't show you how to do it.
That's right. Gotta have you come over.
So tell me a little bit about because there's flat picking guitar competitions, which is a huge deal in the US. So in Ireland we got obviously music competitions called the Fleadh Cheoil, and kids do them from the age of 10 right through to 18 on every imaginable instrument. But
Yeah.
you're particularly proficient at the flat picking competitions, if I'm correct, right? As
It's
in
been a while.
you've won loads.
I
of them.
was. Yeah, I have. I've won some contests over the years, but I haven't competed in. And you know, it's been a long time now, so who knows how I do it anymore. But yeah, I competed back when I was young, and I thought it was a good way to challenge yourself. It forced you into a practice mode that was different than one where you don't have as strict of a goal. With a contest looming, you have that strict goal to get involved, like really learn your tunes, really get excited about creative ways to play those songs and learn how to execute them and whatnot. So, it's a less complacent way of practicing, and I love that. I miss that. I wish I had the contest mode mindset still every day, and sometimes I get there, but it's hard when you don't actually have a contest to practice for. It's hard to practice that intently, but that's what I love most is the practicing. And a lot of the licks that I even still use and that I invented at one point came because I was thinking of a spot of a song for a contest arrangement, and so I competed at Winfield. I actually never won Winfield. That's the big national one. I never won that, but I won a bunch of others. But honestly, and I was excited to win, but the biggest reward is the lasting musical ideas that still are with me now, and that, like I say, that really intensive practice that I gave myself to prepare was what helped me learn these things so thoroughly. And so I miss that. Sometimes you'll kind of tinker with something new, but it doesn't stick because you don't apply it so directly, and so I miss that a little bit. But man, contests are great. It's good for young kids to get out there and be hopefully competitive in a very healthy way, but it's good motivating tool. I have students that compete, and I help them work on their contest arrangements and make suggestions of what they could change or add or whatever. And that's fun for me. I like when I have a student that comes to me with that agenda. It's always great.
So you have a brand new album out?
I do, yeah.
Where can people go to find that?
All the standard sources. I've got hard copies. I can send them internationally or wherever on my website, jakeworkman.com. But it's also on iTunes and Spotify. It's called Landmark. So Jake Workman Landmark is the name of the album, and there are 13.
I emailed you from a balcony in Thailand in December. I was listening to it and enjoying it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, man. It's literally all over the world. It's been like everywhere.
It's a wonderful album. It's really great. Yeah.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much. Thank you. There was even a tune in there that you probably laughed at a little bit, but it was my best Irish tribute, I guess.
Next time, just come to the source, and we'll look after
you. Yeah. Hey, man, I would love to do that. I'd love to come over there sometime and record something together. That'd be fun.
Yeah, will you play another quick tune for us, and then I'll let you go?
You bet. In fact, I'll play one off the record. Gotta decide which one here. I go to B. I'll do this one's called Redwood. See if I remember it. It's been a little bit.
Amazing, wonderful. Jake, thank you so much. Everybody head to jakeworkman.com and get the album, it's amazing. And when this is all over, can't wait to see you again. We'll definitely have to have we have tunes. And you did play with us, and you mentioned at the top, in Franklin, Tennessee last October. We have a recording of that show, and we're going to put it out on Facebook in the coming days, because it was
Cool.
really, really great, and the sound is amazing down there. But,
Awesome. I will. I'll keep an eye out. I'll be excited to see that. That was a great show. We were there the whole thing, man. It was awesome.
it was great. Listen, Jake, thank you so much. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Well, again,
Talk
it
to you
was
soon.
fun.
Bye, bye.
Good to see you. See you later.
There you go. That's the wonderful Jake Workman. I put details up there as a comment. He's an absolutely incredible musician. There's so many comments.
Well, I'm back.
Matthew's back. So this would be a good time if you have any specific questions for Matthew. He's here to answer them. Is that right?
Yeah, I am.
He's very excited. I need to transition out of this, go back to this. There we go. Yeah, Jake Workman, wonderful, amazing show, says Amy Strong, and you were 100% correct. So this is a bit confusing, Matthew, because you're live on this one,
Yeah.
but there's a delay. So this is
Uh-huh.
actually what people are seeing over here. So
Mhm.
there's going to be a load of people saying hello now. Nana Mari was on there a minute ago.
Great.
She might have a question for you, I don't know.
Mm.
So this is my son Matthew, he's 10 years old,
Hello.
nearly 10 and a half. Misty says, are you ready to send your dad back out on the road yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet, no?
No.
What were you saying earlier? Go back to America. You're always saying no.
What was that?
Vicky wants to know, what is the last predicament you may have gotten yourself into?
Well, I did swap the sugar and the baking soda, and now when anyone makes a cup of tea, it just foams.
Okay, so hopefully the sound is better. Is the sound better? This sound. We're trying to get through the sound. All right. Have you ever had a Girl Scout cookie, Matthew?
I want it?
A Girl Scout cookie?
No.
No? What instrument do you like the most?
Piano.
Piano. It sounds like a vacuum is on behind me. I know, Marianne, what that is the fan on my my laptop, because it's working overtime to keep this whole thing going. Jennifer Mass says, I love the tea prank. Yeah. Okay, how's the sound now? Cynthia wants to know what your next TikTok is, Matthew. Have you any more plans?
I can't say it's a secret. You'll see when it comes up.
A secret. So Matthew plays piano. Oh, the Byrne brothers are there, Matthew.
Really?
Yeah.
Hello.
Jennifer wants to know, do you like Lego?
I love it.
How much Lego do you reckon, in euros?
Maybe 1,000, 2,000 euro.
And probably enough to buy a small island off the coast of
Bahamas.
Australia, I reckon. Martin Dyer, your uncle, wants to know, what's your favourite song?
Any of your songs anyway.
Any of We Banjo 3 songs. That's, no, we haven't had any April Fool pranks today.
Yes, you did. You pranked me on the fake RT news that schools were opening tomorrow. I nearly got a heart attack. Like, I was like, I am not going back to school tomorrow. I'm just calling off until next week.
That is true. That is true. That was funny though.
Yeah.
There is no school tomorrow. Right. I'm going to play a tune on the banjo.
See you guys.
Well, I'm after getting a text from the wonderful Pat Murphy to say ready when you are. So I'm going to play a very quick version of Carlin's concerto on a banjo that was made for TV, as they say, because it looks absolutely beautiful. It's made by Tom Cusson of Clarion Banjos. Got lovely walnut burl on the back and the Tree of Life inlay on the neck. it's insanely heavy, so I don't really bring it anywhere, but it looks gorgeous. It's good for photos and stuff like that. So this is Carlin's Concerto. I hope I can remember how it goes. Hopefully that wasn't too awful. That's Carlin's Concerto on the banjo. All right, loads and loads of comments. I have a cousin called Pat Murphy. There you are. Hello, Tom Cusson. It is good to see you, and I hope you're well. All right, let's bear with me again now for 1 minute, and I'm going to do the whole FaceTime buzz here, and we try and get Pat Murphy on the line. Fingers crossed. Hello, Pat.
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful.
Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear. How you doing?
Great. And yourself?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So where are you in the world?
I'm back home in Annapolis, Maryland, which is just outside Washington, D.C. I'm not sure if you're getting more... Are you getting more live from Ireland or from the US, do you think?
I'd say probably more the US, judging by what we normally get. Yeah, I'd say more US.
Okay.
Now I'm hoping the sound is okay. There's a little bit of fiddling around here, and
Right.
usually the lads are all online and they'll let me know straight away. You know how the band are when you make a mistake.
Yeah. I don't know. We get along so well.
So, how are you doing? You're at home.
Well, yeah, so like normally we tour January, February and March, and then we take April off. And then, so we either do, to recharge the batteries, and then maybe then we do a bit of songwriting, because we all live in different states, so it's hard for us to get together and rehearse or, and then we do it, well, so we were supposed to go into the studio next week in Texas. I was supposed to go with Frank, Frank, of course, in Annapolis. I was supposed to go into him on the first week of May, but sure, that's all up in the air,
Yeah.
So normally we take April and May off anyway, and then we hit it back hard in June, then July and August, September, just like yourselves. But I think obviously the kids are off school. The wife is working from home. Everyone's stuck inside. I don't want to talk about coronavirus, but due to my recent escapades, I'm double quarantined.
Do explain to us, Pat, what happened.
And I got rid of these on Monday, so.
For the rare person in the world that doesn't know what happened to you, do tell us.
So we were doing a show. I broke both legs on stage, which is hard to do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't. I have no idea.
You've no idea.
No.
And what's funny is when we got to the ER, I said to the doctor, I think I bruised my ankles. And he just started laughing at me, and he's like, no. He comes back with the x-rays. He said, you've done some serious damage to your legs and your feet. He said, you've 10 broken bones. You've got 5 in the left leg and 5 in the right one. I was just like, oh my God. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you're going to need surgery, and you're going to need surgery almost immediately. And I said, listen, I'm in a band, I'm on tour. I said, we can't cancel the tour. He goes, no, you have to cancel the tour. I said, I can't. I said, we've sold this number of tickets and we have this number of people in the band. I said, we got to keep going. So he's like, look, my shift is ending. What happened was we were just doing a show in Connecticut. I saw a kid way up in the back balcony. Everyone was sitting down, sit-down performing arts centre. We were trying to get them going. And I saw this kid way up the back. And he was having the time of his life. He was about 10 years of age. And he was up dancing. And I was like, I'm going to go up and say hello to that kid. And I said to the audience, I'm going to jump off this balcony before the end of the show. And they all started laughing. So at the end, it was the last song of the night. And I put the microphone down, and I ran up the stairs, and I high-fived the kid. And then I saw the balcony, and I was like, you know what, it doesn't seem that high. So I kind of clambered down, and then I got stuck, and I was like, I couldn't get back up. So the only way was down. So I was like, I better jump. And everyone was like, oh my God, he's going to jump. And then I jumped, but I didn't see there was 3 or 4 steps below me. So when I landed on the steps, and I tumbled, and I got back up, and everyone was like, okay. And then I ran back to the stage, and then I had somebody help me get back on the stage, and then I finished the song, but I was holding onto the microphone stand. And I was just like, oh my God. And then, thanks very much, good night, everybody. And I walk off the stage, and I collapsed into the tour manager's hands, and he was like, you all right? I said, I'm after doing some damage to my legs, I think. And then I went back out, we sang 2 more songs. But I sat down for the 2 songs in a kind of a high chair. Then I walked out to sign some autographs. Then I walked into the van. And then when I got to the hotel, I was like, I can't walk. So off to the ER, 6.5 hours later, and when we got back to the hotel, they couldn't give us a wheelchair, so we had to use the luggage cart to get to the hotel room.
I saw the pictures.
So the pictures of the luggage cart, and we did 2 more shows. Then I flew back down to Maryland and went into the orthopedic on the Monday, and he's like, look, you have to have surgery. The surgery has to be this Wednesday. I said, I can't. I said, I'm in a band. We have a tour. It's already booked. Everyone's waiting for me. He goes, you have 10 broken bones in your legs. You're having surgery on Thursday, and you need to take 2 weeks off. I said, I can't. He said, how are you going to get around flying? How are you going to get around in the bus? I said, I can elevate my feet in the bus. He put me on blood thinners. He rescheduled everything. Got me in 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Did the surgery. The van picked me up at the hospital at noon. Drove off to Wilmington, Delaware. Did the show in a wheelchair that night in 2 casts. And I was like, the show must go on. And we kept going. And then coronavirus comes in, and we ended up cancelling the whole tour anyway.
Were you
like the last 7 or 8 shows.
Were you worried? I mean, were you worried going back out? I mean, on some level. No?
No.
Bad. Yeah, we heard about it, and I was tickled when I heard where you did it, because I thought it was like something. It sounded like the House of Blues in Chicago, and it turned out it was like one of the most conservative venues in North America.
Yep. That's what Steve said to me on Twitter. He was like, I wouldn't mind if you did it in the House of Blues and it was a rock and roll story, but it's like it's the least rock and roll venue in the entire continent.
Yes.
It's a beautiful sit down. It's called the Katharine Hepburn Theatre.
We played it a couple of days before.
You played it a few times, right? Yeah. It's just, everyone's just polite and nice. I was like, come on, everybody, get going. I'm going to jump off a balcony to wake you guys up.
I mean, one of my questions, would have been, what's the craziest thing you've ever done on tour? But you have topped that at this stage. I assume.
I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah. And then you get the likes of Dave Grohl. He broke 1 leg for Foo Fighters. Axl Rose broke 1 leg. I broke 2.
Yeah, complete wusses, the lot of them.
Broke wusses, yeah. So we continued, the tour, and then kind of, with a wheelchair, and then a woman locally here, she gave us one of those electric scooters to get around, which was great, because I didn't have to depend on the lads. I mean, the lads were great. They were, heading me into the bathroom, and then you realise, with 2 broken, and it could be worse though. And people are like, how could it be worse? Well, you could have 2 broken arms. Then you can't eat. You can't, brush your teeth. With 2 broken legs. But then you're getting out of the bed. You're trying to get into the shower. I can't.
There was a guy in Galway years ago. I don't know if he's still alive or not. And this is a true story. there was a circus in town, and he got very drunk one night, and he went down to the circus, and he put his 2 arms into the lion's cage, or the tiger's cage. The tiger bit off both his hands. And he'd be in the pub. No, this is a true story. And he'd be in the pub, but people would have to, when he'd get a pint, like he could, you know, but if he needed to go to the bathroom, someone had to bring him in. He was well known for that reason, if many others. But true story, yeah. So maybe the legs were better.
Maybe the legs were better. So then, you know, we kept going. We were up in Canada for a bit, and we came back. We were lucky to get back into the country because, like, they shut the place down a couple of days later.
Oh.
And then, so I got home after the House of Blues and did the show in the wheelchair and the crutches. And we just made it part of the show. We decorated the wheelchair with flags and green lights and
as you do,
and police sirens and stuff, you know.
I mean, you're literally the only man I know that can turn a situation like that into a massive advantage. And hats off to you for it, though.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, to be fair.
And we actually made these posters. This isn't. But what I realised at the hospital was, well, obviously, it cost a fortune. It's a very expensive hobby, jumping off balconies. And they couldn't give us a wheelchair in the hospital in Connecticut. So we made these posters of me in the wheelchair, and we started selling them at the shows. And then proceeds go. We're going to go back to that hospital in Connecticut in June and try and buy as many wheelchairs as we can for the pediatric ward, and same for the hospital here in Baltimore, Maryland, that fixed the legs. So we've sold a couple. You know, we've sold a lot of posters. We've raised, you know, a fair bit of money, and now we're selling the T-shirts as well.
Yeah, it's a great poster. I saw it. Fantastic.
Oh, you saw the poster?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not just those boots, those stupid boots that you have to wear. So even with insurance, those things are $300 a piece. Like,
yeah.
normally you get one, but I got the two. I mean, the people were coming in looking at it going, who broke both legs?
I mean, you're at home now for an extended period, like everybody, and you have 2 kids. What's it like being in a band, having kids, being on the road, coming home? My wife calls it the transition period when I get home from tour. There's a couple of days, sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's longer, and then... How do you find all of that?
Well, it's definitely, I say disconcerting, because from my wife, she has a full-time job, so she has the 2 kids, and they're 7 and 5. So there's more activities going on, like dance or piano, or there's the scouts. So she does all of that, and then she gets into her routine. So then when I come home, I blow all that routine out of the water, like, and everything. I get ice cream. You want ice cream? You can have ice cream. There's all the chocolate you want. Do you know what I mean? And the routine goes out the window, and it just takes me a while. It takes a while for her to adjust to it. It takes a while for the kids to adjust to it. And then when you get back into your own routine, just as soon as you get into that, the at-home routine, then it's time to go back on tour, and it's all back to square one.
Yeah. Do you find it hard going back on tour, or do you look forward to it?
I mean, it's both. You know, it's hard. You don't want to say goodbye to the kids, but then you know you got to go and make a bit of money and pay the mortgage and stuff like that. You know, you have to do it.
Yeah. Do you still love it?
I do. I was going on 22 years. We went full time in 1998.
It's a lot.
Why did you guys go full time now?
Yeah, it's a lot. What's that?
When did you guys go full time again?
About five years ago.
Yeah. And as you know, it's a huge leap of faith.
It is. Yeah, I gave up a pretty good job and pension and all that nonsense. But my wife told me if I didn't leave the job, she'd leave me, and I like her, so I said, fair enough.
But so since 1998, so that's like 22 years, and
it's an incredible amount of time.
It is, you know. And you look back at it, and you know, we were posting some pictures there at Throwback Thursday, and looking at pictures going, I don't remember being that young and being on stage, but just proof that you're out there with. So,
in 22 years, do you have an absolute best gig? Is there one that sticks out above all the others?
Well, I know the worst one.
That was my next question, so let's start with that.
The I always bring up Milwaukee Irish Festival, just, like a Saturday night and the weather's good, you walk up on stage and there's 15,000 people there. And I walked up on stage, like, ladies and gentlemen, Gaelic Storm. Peek out the curtain, and you're like, oh my God. And you walk out and there's just, it's hard to beat that. House of Blues is great in Chicago. Some great festivals out there.
Do you ever get nervous?
Not anymore, no. Actually, last year at the Dublin Irish Festival, when we played on the Friday in Columbus, Ohio, and the weather was great that night too. And I walked up on stage, I said, and you have the tent is packed and then the field is packed and they got the Jumbotrons and there's people as far as you can see. And I walked up on stage and I said, Columbus, Ohio, Dublin, it's not very often I get intimidated. But I'm a little bit intimidated tonight. Sang the first song, I said, all right, I'm not intimidated anymore.
It wasn't one of the shows where you start with the encore, and go backwards.
No.
I've seen those.
You've seen that in lacrosse, yeah. That was on the Sunday in lacrosse. Like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Let's just go backwards. And that was a good one. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd change, Pat, in the 22 years?
Pardon me?
Is there anything you'd change? Is there anything you'd go back and do differently? It's the quietest you've ever been as long as I've known you.
Yeah, that was 6 seconds of silence. And, I don't think so. It's been great. I really don't think I'd change anything.
Yeah. You've been incredibly encouraging to young bands, and we've known that ourselves on our own personal level, and we've then seen it over and over and over again on so many occasions. Is that a really important thing for you? Because a lot of bands don't do that. I know bands that wouldn't give you the time of the day, let alone help you out. But like you've given us incredible advice. You've given us opportunities to play with you in Milwaukee and in Dublin and the House of Blues and so on and so forth. A very important part of creating a launch pad for us, and I see you do that all of the time with other bands. Why do you do that?
Well, it's a nice thing to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's the first thing. And then Ed Ward from Milwaukee Irish Festival took me aside, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and sat me in the little office in the back on the Miller stage, closed the door, and he said, whatever Gaelic Storm is doing, whatever you're doing, can you pass it on to the other bands? And I was like, why would I do that? Why would I give them so-called secrets, And he said, well, it's better if you help the young and upcoming bands, because that means they'll be around for longer, and therefore the festivals, there'll be more music for the festivals as opposed to a band coming in, starting off and then disappearing. Because I've seen a lot of bands start and then we never see them again, So when he said that, he was like, just go out, and if they ask for any help, give it to them and just help the other bands out. Whatever you're doing, tell the other bands how to do it. And I walked out of the office and was like, wow, that's completely like reverse. Mm-hmm. It's not reverse psychology, but that's everything that you know what, I will try and help some of the bands.
Yeah, you've been a huge help to us, and Ed was an amazing guy.
He's an amazing fellow. Yeah.
He started us and gave us great encouragement. Yeah.
Just started us too. We was the first show we did before we went full time. It was Milwaukee Irish Festival. It was just like we went back to work. I was working at a credit card processing center in a call center in a cubicle with my little headphone on. So I went on. Yeah. I was making $10 an hour. Thanks for calling card service. This is Patrick. How can I help you? Imagine that. Yeah, at a credit card call center. Oh my God.
And how did Ed hear of you? How did you get booked for the first Milwaukee?
It was actually Steve Twigger, the guitar player. He sent out a letter to some of the festivals. And Milwaukee replied back to him and said, well, we already have the schedule booked, but since because of the Titanic thing, the Titanic movie, he said, we'll try and squeeze you in somewhere, but he said, yeah, we'll give you a shot. But sure, we had one album, we were playing local bars. Sure, we'd never played to more than 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one situation where I was very nervous because we went out there on the Thursday night because they have to, and back in like 1998, the Thursday night wasn't open to the public, it was just for the volunteers because they've thousands of volunteers and they don't get a chance to actually appreciate the festival, because they're working so hard. So all they had, there was about 2,000 or 3,000 people and the families of the volunteers. They were all in this tent, the Tipperary stage, and it was the Aer Lingus tent at the time. So I'm out the back, Thursday night. And I'm out the back and I was like, is there anyone going to be at this festival on a Thursday night? This is stupid. And Steve goes, there's a lot of people in that tent. And I took a peek through the tent and I saw the tent was packed to capacity. And I went over to the lake and I just threw up all over the place. And they're like, get in there, you got to do your job. You're like, oh my God. Wow. So that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We had the time of our lives. I flew back to LA on the Monday. And on Tuesday, I was back in the cubicle with my headset on, turned on the computer. Thanks for calling Car Service International. And I just kind of sit back and looked up and down the corridor, all the calls, all the numbers, all the different people on the phone. And I was just like, what in God's name am I doing in a cubicle? Yeah. I got to get out of this here.
And when did you hit that point when you were able to take the leap?
It was about 2 weeks after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I told my boss, I can't do this anymore. And he was like, all right, whatever. He was like, look, you can come back to us off the same level. Level 1. For sure, we did full time was at Pittsburgh a couple of months later. Pittsburgh Irish Festival.
Yeah.
And then it was very lean, There was no shows in November, no shows in December. Then we signed to an agent. And then we went off in January, February, March, and then we kind of just ticked along. And then over the year, we just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And year after year, just slowly just got bigger and bigger. Now I'm talking to you on, when we first started, your newsletter was your fan club, your mailing them, and now we're on talking on Star Trek, Star Wars technology.
And did you do all of that? Did you write?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Amazing.
Bonkers, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Yeah. It's an incredible. The Irish music circuit in America it's incredible. It's so well supported by people.
It is so well supported. Yeah. I don't know why that is. I do know why it is. There's a lot of Irish Americans out here, but they love it, as you know.
Yeah. Is there anywhere in the world that you have an absolute desire to play? That
I'd like to get back to Japan. We did that in like 1999. It was phenomenal, and for some reason we just never went back.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'd love to go back there. I know you guys went over there and had a very successful couple of runs there.
Yeah, we've done it 3 times and absolutely love it. Love it.
Love it. Yeah. France has always been fantastic. Love Brittany. Love Lorient. Festival there in Lorient. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's taken us all over the world there now, down to Australia and Japan and Europe and haven't made it to South America yet with the band, but we have not that everyone's got wives, married, settled down, you got kids. 3 of us have kids. There's 6 kids now, so it's just like you tour January, February, March, take your time off, then June, July, August, take your time off, and then I come home and upset the wife's routine. Which I'm very good at.
That's the job description. Pat, thank you very much for taking time to chat with us.
All right, Enda.
Appreciate it a lot, and hopefully we'll make the summer festivals.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
I know there's a lot of sponsorship when you lost there now. I'd say, even if this is over, do you think people are going to come out? They'll either go completely bonkers or they'll remain a bit safe.
I think when they get the all clear, they'll definitely go bonkers.
They'll go bonkers, yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, it could be cagey for a while, but
yeah.
Fingers crossed, it'll eventually pass over, and whatever the new normal is, we'll get back to it,
Yeah.
And no doubt you'll be there at the middle of it all, Pat, so.
Yeah. And listen, I had to give up drinking too, which is... I'm joking.
I was going to say that's an April Fool's Day.
It's an April Fool's Day. All right, Enda.
Listen, great to talk to you.
All the best, man. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
All the best.
No. Got all the mat. There we go. There you go. The wonderful Pat Murphy, larger than life. Bonkers, says Tim Riley, and that is 100% correct. Definitely bonkers. Well, listen, my hour is up. I'm going to play you some banjo tunes before you go, because why not? It doesn't have to be an hour. It's up to me, isn't it? So this is the very first banjo that I ever, the second banjo that I ever owned. It's an Epiphone recording A. I bought this from Tom Cusson. Well, my mum and dad bought it from Tom Cusson. When I was, I'm going to guess, probably 11 years old, I think. I don't know if Tom is still watching. Tom was on a while ago. When I was about 9 or 10, I went out to see Tom. I wanted to get a decent banjo. I had a kind of a baby beginner banjo. And Tom asked me to play, and I was playing with my hand on the bridge, on this bit. So I was only literally just learning how to play. And Tom said, I won't sell you a banjo until you go home and learn how to play without your hand on the bridge. And I remember going home, it was summertime and it was hot. And I practiced because I really wanted a new banjo. And eventually Tom rang up and he said, I have a banjo for you. And it was a Maybell, I remember that. It was a lovely little banjo. And I played that for a year or two. And then I needed an upgrade and I bought this. As I said, my mum and dad bought it. I don't remember how much it was at the time. It's quite a long time ago. And I've held on to it since. It's a contrary kind of an instrument at this stage because it is quite old. It's difficult to keep in tune, and it's old tuners, but it has the original, for the banjo nerds that are out there, it has the original Grover tuners, and it would be a shame to change them at this stage. It's got the original Epiphone tailpiece. Always had a wonderful tone. It's really loud. So, as I said, hard to keep in tune. That's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for for tuning in. We have Throwback Thursday tomorrow. I don't know what's coming up. Should be interesting. And then you got Fergal's Fiddling Friday. On Friday, oddly enough. And then on Saturday we have a wonderful album recording, or a live recording, that we're going to put out for Saturday's dance party. But I've listened to it and it's really, really cool. So hopefully you'll all tune in for that. So a big, huge thank you to Jake Workman again and to Pat Murphy from Gaelic Storm. Great fun talking to both of them. Particularly Pat is an absolute legend and has done so much for Irish music and for Irish bands. And you know, he's a great character and he's a wild man and all the rest of it, and an incredible entertainer. And it's probably not always seen how much Pat does for young bands, how much he did for us, the advice that he's given us, business advice, music advice into entertainment, all of that kind of stuff. And it's important that he's recognised for it, because he's done a huge amount for a lot of people. So that's it for me. Hope you all stay safe and stay home and stay well, and see you all down the road or next week. I'm sure we'll probably be here. So thanks for watching.